Uh, What up, y'all? This is your boy Gerald. It is Friday, the 6th of May, 2016. How is everybody doing? That's right, y'all. You on the back side of your week, getting ready to step into your weekend. I know that some of you may have already made plans for, first of all, I want to give a shout out to those who are mothers, expecting mothers, as well as those who have lended that precious ear, that heart, shown kindness and compassion that you may not have been connected to by blood or bone, but yet they showed love to you. These people, these precious people, we acknowledge on Sunday, for it'll be Mother's Day. Just take a second. You're not so busy that you can't pick the phone up. If that's not where you are, if you're in a space that maybe the communication's not there, the first thing you can do is pray in their behalf and pray that there will be some clarity, that you can bridge that gap that is fostered by fear. Finally everything's a reality. Because we are what we attract, y'all. And what you do not want to do is harbor negativity, harbor resentment, harbor having a judgmental spirit. I know this can be easily said and done. I understand that. I got that because we live in an age more than ever where there are plenty of women having children but do not have the tools or the education, each one teach one, to earn the right to be called mother. But we can also be optimistic now, can't we? We can hope that whatever their struggles may be, that they get through it. Whatever the setback that may have them shifting their feet and not being able to plant them firmly on the ground, that they're able to see it, to champion it, to claim their rightful place in time. So how is everybody doing, y'all? How you doing? I hope you were able to sidestep the negativity this week, able to ground your feet and speak your truth, because there is only one you. You know, hey, God made you perfect because you're breathing. You woke up this day. You didn't have to. So guess what? At the least, that should tell you there is work required. There is something that you are required to do that must be fulfilled. Therefore, that means we must be transparent. We must be vulnerable to ourselves and continue to build. Because you only have one life, y'all, and it's a precious life. Do not let your environment and the people that you keep company with steal your smile. First of all, let's be honest. I know we live in a society where people tend to more or less They don't want to be by themselves. And they may engage in behaviors just to pacify the time because they don't want to be by themselves. So they may make these false alignments just as a means of distraction. And I've come to learn that in these alignments, a whole lot of pain comes out of that. But a whole lot of truth comes out of that too, if you're willing to see it for what it is. So I woke up this morning and unbeknownst to me, all across the news, they're trying to get it out to each and every one of us that there was another major hacking going on online. And if you have a Gmail account, a Yahoo account, a Hotmail account, it is very best that it's very, very important that you go and change your passwords. Change them up because someone that you don't know may try to use your information to cause not only damage, but actually fill their pockets up off of your misery. So protect yourself. I'm just putting that out there to somebody because you might not be aware that there may be possibility. And you know how it always goes, y'all. All of a sudden you start getting 1,001 calls from places you don't know, getting information online and ads for things you don't know. Well, you know that you didn't do it, don't open it, first of all. Delete it. Because there might be some spyware in it. It might be a mole virus in there. There might be a Trojan horse in there to cause you more anxiety, to cause you more pain, which means ultimately you're going to have to come out your pocket for that wound. Ain't nobody trying to lose money that they work hard for. So tighten up, you know. How's I hear people on the line use this term all the time. Forewarned is forearmed. If it don't look right, why are you entertaining it? That's your discernment. That's what it is. It's gonna let you know. But here's another thing for those who may have not, which I hope you have, filed your taxes, or you may owe. There is people that are going around calling. You may get a automated message on your phone saying you owe the IRS money. First of all, let me tell you something. If you do owe some money, they don't call you. They don't call. They'll send you an official statement with official letterhead because guess what? They don't need you to validate that information because they already have it. So I want to throw that out there too. I had somebody, they tried to attempt that and they left a message on their cell phone and I heard it and I was like, and it was an automated message, like something was generated from a computer, like a fake Siri or something like that, saying, oh yes, blah, 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 blah. Be vigilant over your finances. That's your hard-earned money. It's your responsibility to dot your I's and cross your T's. Now, with that being said, what's been in the news as of late? You see it all over the place. Everybody's got comment. Everybody got their 2 cents talking about Prince. Man ain't been gone a good week. Everybody got all these hypotheses and theories and stuff like that. And it amazes me because these same people didn't have a platform before the man was walking on this earth. Now they got one now. But we see this all the time, y'all. When somebody in the public eye passes away, now everybody wants to come out of the woodwork, or what I say, all out of the cheap seats and put their 2% in. I always got an opinion. Didn't even know the dude because he led a private life. You have to respect that. But you know what I've noticed, and you probably noticed too. Why is it when someone falls from grace, falls from the public eye, or passes, they always try to connect dots? Why? Because what they're doing is trying to smear the legacy that was left behind. They couldn't get it when he was alive. They couldn't get him, so they want to throw stones. But see, that made me think too. You seeing people coming from all the woodwork saying, you know, they were related and blah, 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 blah. You know what? I'm pretty sure, as business savvy as this man was, he made sure his affairs were in order. And I believe the intended person that has that paperwork will act in the intended time. But like I said in the last video, that's how people do that don't see your worth. They like that vulture sitting on that telephone line, waiting, surveying, waiting to strike. And we see that in our own individual lives. There are people that you don't have anything to do with that want to swoop in and distract you from what you're doing. I believe now more than ever, y'all, we are in a spiritual harvest that the actions that were done, the seeds that were planted long ago, is the harvest of what's being placed before you. So to some, you're not feeling comfortable right now because you don't like what you see. To others, it's just validation of your progression. Either way, it's still your life. So it's still your responsibility to dictate how and what your story will be displayed when you're gone. That's your legacy. But guess what? There'll be many of people that will want to add little, inserts in there. But I'd say to this: short and simple. You would know if you were there, and you will come to understand that people that don't know, that did not have any input, will always want to input something about you. Why? Because there's only one you. And those are usually the people that did not see your worth, did not see the investment called you, did not want nor was there when the works were done, but think they are entitled to the harvest. I say to each and every one of you, it's time for you to fortify your steps. So with that being said, embrace being uncomfortable for a while. You say, why be uncomfortable, Gerald? I just want to be at peace. I just want to love on me and invest in me. So why do I have to be uncomfortable? Because I've come to learn when You embrace your uncomfortability. That is an underlining motivation for the things that you were afraid to do or see. Well, what we're talking about is your works. I know I'm talking to someone. Ain't nothing worse than you didn't put the investment out there, you didn't paid your dues, and then now it's time to reap the harvest, and then all of a sudden you got 50,000 hands. Hey, what about me? And you thinking to yourself, well, where were you when I didn't have it? Where were you when I was by myself? Where were you when I just needed a shoulder to lean on? Now, mind you, these are extensions. Your friends are extensions of your state of mind at that moment. That's how the bond is forged, the tie. It just depends on if it's a positive or a negative. But either way, guess what? There's still truth. This is the connection. This is the reason why they're there. This is the reason why they have access to you, because you had to sign off somewhere. Some of you may be thinking, well, Joel, you know what? I'm in a place right now where I just throw my hands up and I'm like, whatever. But I don't want you to, that's not a pass. Because indirectly, you are exposing yourself to someone that will prey on you, not pray for you. Because see, those people think or wish to put you in a box. Excuse me. They want to put you in a box. These people don't have the courage to speak their truth. That's why it's important for you to always take note of their actions. If you see a habitual cycle, that's not just by chance. That's not a pattern, that's a behavior. So the courage that's required is for you to see it for what it is. Now, here's a real question on that. Ask yourself why you don't deserve to have things as you intended. If you out there investing your time, think about your job. Think about your job wherever you are, whatever you do, and nothing makes you get up to go to that job but the motivation of that paycheck. And you do your obligation and it's payday, only for you to take that hard-earned paycheck and throw it out of your window as you drive away. Why would you do that? You wouldn't. So let's say your paycheck is measured by your time. Because guess what? Your paycheck is measured by your time. That's your greatest investment, because you have to be in the position to sow those seeds so you have the right to withdraw. And I believe, y'all, I believe more than than anything. A lot of people are waking up, and a lot of people are finally having the courage to look that beautiful person in the mirror. Yeah, I'm talking about you. And you are finally embracing your truth. You're not embracing a groundhog day like effect. Okay, I get up to go to this job, I don't want to be here. My life sucks. You have that position because you made a choice. You made a choice. Maybe that was the only option you had at that time. But guess what? I've come to learn this in my 20 plus years that guess what? If the job that you are in now is not the end all be all, it's your responsibility to prepare so that you can transition to the next. Therefore, you got to put your ducks in a row. If it's required, additional education. But at the minimum, be honest with yourself. Do you realize there are people that go to work every day and they hate their job? You have people that are educated, got accolades galore, and they despise the fact of what they do. You know why? Because there's no passion in that. That's right. And passion is nothing but a derivative of what? A bigger word, compassion. That means you would do it for free because it's a reflection of who you are inside, your traits. That's like taking someone, dressing them up, and throwing them in an environment and they have no recollection how to relate to what's going on. This occurs all the time. I know you probably know there's somebody that may be in your hierarchy in your job structure, and you know right off the bat they don't belong there. Nothing personal, but when it comes to towing the line of responsibility, you know they don't have the they don't have the credentials to do the job that's required. You see it all the time. You hear it all the time too if you listen well. They're the ones that are most disgruntled. They're put it this way. I remember someone told me a long time ago, they said, if you spend more time trying to get out of work than doing work, that's the wrong job for you. I know I'm talking to someone. So the real question should be asked this: why are you there? I want you to marinate on that for a second. Be right back. All right. All right. Thank you for your patience. So you marinate on that. So if you are in a job that you are unhappy with, maybe because of the fact that, let's just say you give 100% output, but the input in regards to what you make, it's not adding up. You know that uncomfortable feeling you get every time you see your paycheck? That should be a motivation for you to step out of that comfort zone and do something different because you're not at peace. But you must first be honest with yourself. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the people you know. What matters is how you feel inside. And if you go a little deeper, you'll also know this. It also has an effect on your health. For example, I don't know where you live at, but I reside in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And nationally, you notice the weather because of the jet stream, how it's going. A lot of areas have been affected with heavy rains, flooding, and some areas dry as a bone. And right now is a great example. I've been echoing this last couple of weeks, how what you're seeing is geoengineering. That's why we're in the backside of spring. You blink twice, you're going to be in the summer. But you look outside your door and it feels like you're in autumn. The sun is not doing what it needs to do. And it's having an effect on the ecosystem. That's why some areas you can literally go outside to your vehicle and it's nothing but a chalkboard because the trees, the plants are overproducing pollen because genetically they're going off of its natural progression. But haven't you noticed on the days where it's dreary, it also has an indirect effect on your personality too. You see it and it affects everybody. You just like, I don't want to be there. Why? Because the sun ain't out. Birds ain't chirping. It seems morbid. It all has an indirect effect. And after a while, guess what? It also has an effect on your psyche too. So it's very important, as I always say to each and every one of you, make a conscious decision to focus on the things that matter, starting with yourself from the inside out. Because the person that you're destined to be is not going to be the person that you are today. But the decisions that you make today will have an impact on who you're going to become. I know I'm talking to someone. Now, with that being said, I had the pleasure of looking at a clip um, that someone had posted of Ricky Smiley. And Ricky Smiley, I don't listen to his show. I listen to Steve Harvey's show in the morning. But I noticed that Ricky Smiley is embracing a more spiritual uh, path in his life. And he kind of tiptoed about it, but he more or less said, I would say about like a 10-minute spiel, that the moment that you embrace the things that make you uncomfortable, that will bring you one step closer to where you are intended to be. Because you got to understand something, y'all. You can't get back those last 5 minutes out my mouth. And you can't get back what you did yesterday. But yet we make it a position to live in our despair. We make a decision to live in the things that hold us back and do not promote our progression. And the question is why? Why do you hold on to pain? Pain serves one reason. It's to educate you by way of clarity, instantaneously, on what you do not need. But then you got to take a position to be honest with yourself And unfortunately, you will come to understand in your life that there will be people that will make a conscious decision not to embrace who they are. You know these people. They got a PhD in deflection. They can never talk to you straight. You ask them a question, they ask the question right back that just came out of your mouth. But what you don't realize by doing that one thing, they're trying to think fast. Therefore, whatever comes out of their mouth is not truth anyway. It's a lie. So you got to go a little deeper and ask yourself the uncomfortable question. Why do I entertain your presence? Because obviously you do not value mine. And with that being said, I've echoed this too. There's going to be a many of people that are going to want to know your story, who you were. And a select few are going to have the right to walk with you. But only the blessed will actually be able to witness your legacy. They've earned the right. They've earned through loving themselves, but having an unconditional bond that I believe is spiritually driven. Now, let me tell you something. With that being said, let's get uncomfortable because you're going to have some people that will walk with you under the banner of the opportunists. Remember, I kept telling you about the vulture sitting on the telephone line? That's exactly who they are. And I'm not trying to sound judgmental because these are the most broken people you'll ever come to meet in the intended time. You will see it for yourself. It's just a matter of time. The more truth you embrace, the more stronger you become. You'll also notice the distance you have come from as well. You got to understand something, y'all. The story of your life was not guaranteed that you would be walking with someone else because it's your story, not plural, stories. But the commonality is the view. I know I'm talking to someone. So you ask yourself this. Did that person that you got into that argument with, did they earn the right to hold your dreams? Do they empower your steps? Do they have a relationship with God? Does their actions speak louder than any words that could be found falling from their mouths? You know the truth. But the question is, will you embrace it? And if you're constantly hearing no, 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 ask yourself this. What was the state of mind that you had the day that they walked into your life? Now, yes, we all go through things, some good, some not so good. But the one thing that should be conscious is that no matter what you're going through, something better has your name on it. But I've also known this too, because God loves you so much, He will block your blessing. You'll block your blessings not to punish you, but to protect you. He will delay things because of the company you keep. I know I'm talking to someone. Think about that person that you have an unconditional connection with and look at your finances. I know I got somebody's attention now. Remember where you were before they came into your life? Now, you would think by them coming into your life, it would have enhanced it because it's dual, it's parallel. You have a common goal, but where's the love? Where's God in it? See, man has gotten so arrogant that some believe that man is God. That's an abomination. That's an abomination like I don't know what. So why does it surprise you that sooner or later the rug is going to always be pulled? Things happen, but it's always divinely done. You may have forged a bond with someone that you thought was heaven sent, only to live in your hell, only to dissolve as quick as it came. That's not to break you down. It's for you to break through. I got this feeling right now. There's a woman, got a good heart, and you have children, and everything that you're dealing with right now is a reflection of their choices. And no matter what you say, they ain't listening. But you're feeling their burdens. They're unloading on you. And you're connecting that for the reason why you're by yourself. That's partly true. That is partly true. And I say this because part of that is true because you know you've done everything you could to be a loving parent, but you wake up every day longing for the one. You know I was going to bring that up. I don't know why you thought I wouldn't. But guess what? God sees that because he searches our heart. And there's one thing that you've been avoiding. You know what that is. That. And until you make peace with that, will that spiritual door open up? And guess will be on the other side? Your peace of mind. I know I'm talking to someone. It's like fixing, it's like fixing your favorite food and it's bland. Why would you accept that? So why would you wager your heart? You're doing the same thing. And all I'm going to say to you is this. At the end of the day, God never asked for your permission to do what you've done. We all go through it, but not everybody comes through it. That's where your transparency must be. Some of you, I got a feeling right now. The reason why you choose the behaviors or the type, I despise that word when it comes to companionship. I have a type. Maybe you need to be honest with yourself and admit that you don't know what you know what you need. You already know, but you're afraid. You're afraid to admit you wrong. And that's why love doesn't come. Same thing, my kings. Aren't you tired of your wallet taking a beating? You say it every time, man. When I get through this, I ain't gonna never do that. Only to do it 3 times worse. Because that's a reflection of your state of mind, you know? And I'm not making light of it because you deserve to be happy. But you also understand this too. You never made peace of that relationship that you was in. Maybe it was dissolved because of what you did and you deflected it. You didn't own it. So therefore you ain't changed. Some people know that as karma. Ain't no such thing as karma. Divine intervention is that because God don't need your help. He didn't see. That's how arrogant man is. But I also know this too. Anything created with man's hands, these 10 digits, guess what? Automatically come with an expiration date. Man will never figure out forever. He's got that. And yes, we make excuses, we deflect, we try to find justifications instead of taking ownership of the choices we make. That's just like a parent being frustrated at the behavior of their child or their children. They don't like who they become, but you don't take accountability for the part of what you didn't do. Don't you realize your children are a reflection of you? They come from you. So guess what? You taught them. You taught them. But guess what? As long as you got air in your lungs, you can unlearn anything. Just depends on how much pain you got to go through. But I believe if this is how crazy this world is, y'all. People now are so bold and brazen. They're so promiscuous. They don't value their bodies, and then they get surprised. They got to hold their mouth when the doctor hits them with the, yeah, you got this STD, you ain't gonna never get rid of it, or you got this ailment with your health, and we can give you some comfort stuff, which basically is placebic, you know, and you feel a certain kind of way because now you're saying, well, you know what? Nobody had my back, but you're supposed to have your own back. That's why when we hear that phrase, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything because it starts with you. So get uncomfortable. If you are entertaining stuff that don't grow, why are you there? Because of what she brought to the table? Because what she can do behind closed doors? What he can do or who he knows? Your life ain't for sale. Take the price tag off your back and see how quickly your life changes. But if you don't have a connection with God, guess what? You're going to keep suffering. I mean, I ain't got to tell you that. Look outside your door. I hope I live long enough for to turn on the TV and that news reporter says, hey, we got no news today. Today was great. Beautiful day. No drama. I hope God spares my life long enough so I can say, you know what? I lived. I'm just a man that loves God. I never shirked off my responsibilities. because I know what a man looks like and I strive to be that. I don't measure my life on what's found between my legs or what's found in my pocket. Johns do that. Insecure people do that. That's why when you turn around and buy a gift for someone, instead of giving them the gift they need, which is your time, it's never appreciated until you're gone. Until you're gone. Ain't no coming back. But that's the society we live in. We're in a society where the pedophile wants to have a voice, where what should be questioned is silence, and what should be valued is mocked. Why? Because you don't love you? I guarantee you, if you started loving you, your life would change. But you allow them to tell you how to walk and talk. He only comes around only to watch you change your bed sheets. But he's never there. He's never there when he needs to be. Why? Why shouldn't he? He don't respect himself, so why he gonna respect you? All she got, her claim to fame is what she's known for. But she can't balance a checkbook. You see where we going with this, y'all? I peeped this out as a kid. I remember the first movie that inspired me long on a social level. And I hope that you guys just peep it out. Remember that movie Car Wash? Yeah, that one. Go back when you have time. Watch it. Watch it again. And I guarantee you, you will see someone you know, but look at the trends. I remember Red Fox. Yeah, Red Fox. He said one time in an interview, all styles and trends repeat. They repeat for those who didn't get it the first time. So let's look at it on an economic level. They put out something, people swoop in, you give it a little bit of time, it's just repackaged. It's for your edification and their bank account. Why? Because it's defined by worth. But more importantly, it's because of that. So when you get ready to step into your weekend, y'all, and I hope this weekend is a pleasant one. But while you're in your weekend, I want you to take a second. And I want you to take this thing right here, one of the most distracting, enabling things that we possess, that really, when you think about it, also has a high death count too. I want you to pick this thing up. I want you to go in your contacts, and I want you to be honest with yourself. And I want you to go through each and every contact and ask yourself, does that person see my worth? Does that person, does that person inspire me? Try to find a connection in that, right? Then ask yourself, how do they see me? If these people that you call contacts do not spawn growth, remove them. Because those are the same people that are robbing you of your mortality. They're robbing you of your time. Other than your self-worth, your greatest asset that you will possess is your time. I know I'm talking to somebody. He don't even, okay, you think I'm pulling your leg? But why do you think that he or she has that disposition towards you? If it seems like it takes an act of Congress to get them to treat you fairly, why are you entertaining them? You're witnessing an opportunist. If only thing you're receiving is disrespect and cunningness, why are you there? Why are you there? If they're constantly telling you the same old rhetoric, but their actions do not reflect it, why won't you have the courage to do something different? Because you'll come to understand that may be the linchpin of your self-respect. I'm just saying. Because see, I know there's a movement going on right now, y'all. It's actually been going on for like the last 5 years. A lot of women are becoming more sexually liberated and have picked up the banner of equality. But let me tell you something. You'll never have equality. I'm going to tell you why. It goes back biblically, because when God created you, he created a diamond. And because you were made female, you were already ingrained certain responsibilities that as you progress through your life, they will be defining moments. That's why you become inherit the right to be called mother. That is why when mom is gone, for some, the earth stops. To others, it causes great motivation to search themselves. Ain't nothing worse to have parents you know nothing about. That's the greatest travesty you can do to yourself. I'm going to tell you why. Because until you get to a place in your emotional foundation, you'll never understand you. That's a fact. Because let's look at it from a scientific level. Your father gave you 23 chromosomes. Your mother gave you the other 23 chromosomes. Your DNA strand is made up of 46. So does it surprise you that you have two halves of your brain, left and right? So guess what? Those traits and behaviors came from your dad and your mom. And that made a blessing. So maybe you might have to go a little deeper. And here's something I had to learn too. The generations that we live in now has become more liberal. The things that were deemed taboo, there is conversation. And I've also had to learn that the generations that came before us did not have a placement to have a dialogue. So you may be sitting in a position where you ain't got nothing to do with your parents. You may have some resentment, some anger, or unfortunately, which is sad, underlining hatred. You're going to have to work through that. You're going to have to. Don't do it for them, do it for you. Because if you don't, if you do not, you know what's going to happen? You're going to become what you despise. I know I'm talking to someone. Ain't nothing worse for a parent to witness or watch their children damage their lives, but underlining they know they failed. You got to understand, you are their first teacher. I know there might be some people right now saying, well, Gerald, I would be a hypocrite to try to uh, correct my children's behavior when I was not there. Then you become their inspiration. Maybe you may not have had the fortitude for yourself, and you may have had made decisions at that moment. Because you got to understand something, y'all. When you look at it, you're making and acting on the mental state that you're working with at that moment. So if you don't have the information correctly at that time, guess what happens? You go through a habitual cycle of awareness to teach you. But haven't you noticed? Doesn't matter what you say or do, you can't fix a broken person. They got to do it themselves. I know I'm talking to someone. That's why it's very important to govern your time, govern what you take in. Because I'm going to tell you what, if you are trying to emulate what you see on TV, what you take in without logic, you are going to destroy your life. You're going to destroy it. See, right now, we're living in an age where they're glamorizing the bad girl. They're glamorizing her. They want her to willfully disrespect herself. They want her to be the promiscuous Jezebel. They want her to influence those who can be. Why? Because they see the money trail at the end of it. You can't tell someone they're beautiful, and change the way they see it if they already know. That's why magazines continue to fly off the shelf. That's why media is consumed in an ever alarming rate. Why? Because people are searching. But what does your heart tell you? What does that last disappointment tell you? What does your associations tell you? So when you step into this weekend, give yourself permission to reflect. Ask yourself, when that phone rings, do they deserve my time? What has given them the right to earn that space and time that I acknowledge? This does not mean you're being mean. That means you see your worth. Nobody, you can't buy that. I ain't got to remind you that. Just go outside and get in your ride. You see it all the time. You see some very broken people behind the steering wheel. And you know how you know? Because they're staring at you. They're staring at you. They can sense it. There's spiritual warfare going on, y'all. The more that you connect to yourself. How about have that? How can you call yourself strong if you don't have a connection with God? Hmm? Really? Think about it. If you don't put God first in your endeavors, you're going to constantly find setbacks. You're going to constantly be in that sea of despair. You're going to, that's all I'm saying. Ain't nothing worse for someone to make a conscious decision to settle. Why? Because of false security? Why do you think divorce rates are the way they are? Half of them married for the wrong reasons. Your life is a celebration. The moment that you decide to stop running and being honest to the person that matters most, you. God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. And trust me when I tell you this, stay on path, do the work, your harvest will come. Don't worry about those people because guess what? If they're putting more focus on what your landscape looks like instead of theirs, they'll come to realize there were snakes in the grass already, just waiting to strike. Happy Mother's Day. Have a safe and blessed weekend. And of course, drop me a line, give me a like, because I do this for you. Why? Because you're priceless. It's time for you to claim your life back. Be blessed.